What up, Buttercup? It is the Sovereign CEO podcast. I am Caleb Jones. I teach people just like you how to set up location-independent income through your own small, mobile, but high income and low work Alpha 2.0 business. And then that way you can move to a less bad country and escape the collapsing West, or at least set up an international backup plan and do all these things for very little money. Today, I'm going to show you exactly how to start your own location-independent business if you are a 100% complete beginner, because I know there are a lot of you in my audience, and that's wonderful. So let's convert you. Let's convert you from a wage slave employee who has no freedom and no agency in life because you can't control your own income, which is kind of silly if you think about it, to a sovereign CEO. Dun, 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 dun. Okay. So I'm going to give you the, how many steps? Look at my notes here. 6 steps, how to do this, okay? Starting from zero, starting from scratch, okay? I've talked a lot about how to start your own business. I've never encapsulated this specifically for total newbies, totally beginners. If you've never started a business in your life, you've been an employee your whole life, I'm sorry. If you've been like that, this is how you start your own business. Very, very simple. I've broken it down in very easy, simple, bite-sized chunks. Okay, step number 1 is more of an emotional thing. And this is something that a lot of people don't do. This is one of the reasons why so many people dabble in business. They start a business idea and then they just throw it aside and get back to life. They don't do this. It's the most important step in my opinion. And this step is commit to 15-18. What do I mean by that? You need to make 100% heart and soul, blood and guts commitment to work on this business for at least, minimum, at least 15 hours a week. That's 15 hours a week at least for 18 months at least. That's the commitment you're making. If you don't make that commitment, here's what's going to happen. I've seen this happen 10,000 times. Someone has a bad day at work and they go, fuck my boss. I hate my job. I'm going to start a business and fuck those people. And with no forethought, with no planning, with no emotional preparation, they go on the internet and they research some shit and they see a cool YouTube video and they start a business and then they dabble at it. They don't know what the fuck they're doing. They don't make any money. They say, I just wasted a bunch of time. And then they get busy with work, quote unquote, or the girlfriend or wife yells at them, right? Or they get sick and they get the flu and all these bullshit beta male excuses. And then they stop doing it and they go right back to being a wage slave because they didn't make that commitment. You must make the commitment. And I've done podcasts on this in both my podcasts, Sovereign CEO and Alpha Male 2.0, both, where when I started my company, I made a commitment. I said, I cannot be an employee. I cannot live my life like this. I cannot live the rest of my life like this. A few years, fine. I'll suffer a few years in my 20s when I'm young and stupid because I don't know any better. Okay, fine. But for my 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, no. I have to set my own destiny. I have to do what I want to do. I have to be a free man and make the money I want to make and work the hours I want to work. It was 100% commitment. It wasn't like, oh, that would be nice. So you need to sit down. If you need to look at yourself in the mirror to do this, do it. And sit down and look at yourself in the mirror and make the solemn oath, the solemn commitment. Whatever this business is, and you don't know what it is yet, I'll get to that in a minute, okay? You haven't decided what your business is. That's why you do this fucking first. You do this first. Whatever this business is, I'm going to commit to 15 hours a week, for 18 months minimum. That means if 17 months have gone by and I've made $0, I'm still working on this another month. I'm not going to get discouraged in 4 or 5 months because I don't become a billionaire like Elon Musk in 6 months, because that's what everyone seems to want these days. Particularly you young fuckers, you millennials and Gen Z. You want to be Elon Musk in 6 months. You want to be Andrew Tate in 6 months. Sorry, that's not how it works. It takes a little more time. Sometimes you can strike it rich and make a lot of money within a few months. That happens. That definitely happens. I've seen it happen many times, especially in our coaching programs. It happens. Okay. But don't plan on that. 18 months, 15, 18, make that commitment. Okay. Number 2 is that you need to sit down and brainstorm out some narrow niches. What is a narrow niche? Well, first of all, the more narrow the niche, the better. Okay. I'm looking at my notes over here. The more narrow the niche, the better. So doctors is not a niche. And I have a lot of experience teaching guys how to do niches, both one-on-one coaching, consulting, our coaching programs where we set up companies for people, help people set up companies. Billy and I and my team, Jeff, and all of us, we have a lot of experience helping people with niches. And the problem is they don't understand what a niche means. Healthcare is not a niche. That is an industry. That is a massive industry. IT is not a niche. That's an industry. There are thousands and tens of thousands, 50,000 or more niches inside IT, inside healthcare. Okay? Pediatric surgeons ready to retire. That's a niche. Okay? Dentists in private practice in small towns. That's a niche, not healthcare. Okay? Narrow niche, and the more narrow, the better. Well, Caleb, what if it's too narrow? I'm worried there are not enough people. This is a fact. I've said this many times. I'll say it again. I have never seen a niche narrow enough where you could not make $1 million a year selling stuff to that niche. I've never seen one. Ever. Not once. Not one exception to that rule. You can't go too narrow. The more you niche, the better. I've done a lot of videos on niches. I'm going to go through that again. You need to niche. Identify, you brainstorm them out. Go on the YouTube, go on Google, go on websites, read books. Just brainstorm out a list of niches that you've seen, heard of, are interested in, maybe when you were in school, through your job, through your family, every source you can think of, okay? Brainstorm that out. The more narrow the niche, the better. And I'll throw a little piece in here. The best niches are the ones that sell things that are higher margin. For example, it would be better to sell to dentists selling veneers, for example, than selling to a company that manufactures toothpaste. Because what's the margin on toothpaste? 8%, 12%, 50%? What's the margin on veneers? It's thousands and thousands of a percent, thousands of percent. It's huge. So that way, then you want the niche to be profitable. That way, the more profitable they are, the more likely they are to give you money and the more motivated they are to work with you. Okay? There are exceptions to that rule, but that helps. All right. Number 3, pick out your favorite niches, the ones that look the most interesting to you. You don't have to love the niche. You don't have to have a passion for the niche, but you have to at least be curious about the niche. Okay? You can't hate the niche. And you pull those out and you identify what is the biggest problem of each niche. Well, I don't know. Okay, I'll tell you how to find it in a second. But you identify what the biggest problem is. Maybe in some cases, if you have the top 5 niches, the biggest problem and the second biggest problem. Because maybe the biggest problem you can't help them with, but the second biggest one you could. So you figure that out. Well, how do I figure that out? You figure it out. If you need to call up some people and ask them, ask them. If you need to offer $50 their time, hey, I'm starting a business. I'm trying to figure out what your biggest problems are in your industry for people like you. I'm happy to pay you $50, $100 for 20 minutes of your time to ask you a few questions. That'll be some of the best money you've ever spent. You can do this over LinkedIn. You can DM people over LinkedIn. You can email people. You can call people. You can also be involved in a niche that you have some experience in. Maybe your brother's in that niche. Maybe you worked in that niche at one point and you already know what the biggest problem is. Great. So take your top 3, top 5 niches and write down, research what are the biggest problems of those niches. And for extra credit, the second biggest problem. Okay? That's step 3. Step 4. You ask yourself, with my skill sets, with my interests, with my abilities, do I have the ability to fix or alleviate that problem? Now, there's a second piece to this, so don't freak out. The answer, well, I don't know anything. That's the big excuse. Caleb, I'm an idiot. I have no marketable skills. I don't know anything. You think I knew shit when I was in my early 20s? I didn't know shit. I didn't know anything. And I was making the inflation equivalent of $50,000 a year by my early 20s. I didn't know shit. So this is a bullshit excuse. You think I knew about consulting when I started my first consulting practice when I was 24 years old, when I was working for Nike all day? No, I didn't know shit. Not an excuse. So yes, you can service these people. You can help. I didn't say fix. I said fix or alleviate. Can you use? And if the answer is maybe or yes, how do you do that? You kind of map that out. Okay. Now, here's a side question to this. If the answer is hell no, I have no idea. Could you go on a site like Upwork? The answer is probably yes. Could you go on a site like Fiverr or Upwork or freelancer.com or any of these websites? Okay, we can hire people for very cheap all over the world and hire someone else to fix their problem. Maybe it's some weird niche and maybe it's the biggest problem is some kind of weird technical problem that you don't know how to fix. Could you hire some nerd in Bangladesh or India, pay him whatever, pay him $15 an hour, then bill him out at $30 an hour, $50 an hour, $100 an hour as part of a package and sell that to clients. And he does the work. You get the money. You make sure that the work is the quality you need it to be, right? You're the kind of the middleman. I've made a lot of money like this. Client pays you the money. You make a shitload of money. You give him a shitload of money, which is a shitload of money for him. Client fixes their problem. Win, win, win. Can you do that? I bet you probably could. If you think I'm dumb and I don't know anything. Could you find someone else to do the work? Often you can't. Usually you can't. Sometimes you can't. Or sometimes you can, but they're too expensive. That's when you look at the second problem. Because sometimes you will, like I said, I'm going to say this again. You can identify niches where they have a problem. You have no idea how to fix it. You have no idea how to outsource it. It's just way beyond you. You just don't have the confidence to even try. So then you say, what's your second biggest problem? I have worked with companies in my consulting practice where I'm sitting down with the CEO of the company. And I go, what's your biggest problem? And he tells me, and I'm like, shit, I can't fix that. I have no idea how to fix that. And I'll say, what's your second biggest problem? He'll say, oh, my second biggest problem is this. I go, I can fix that. I can improve that by 40% in the next 3 months. No problem. And I've made a lot of money doing this. Okay? So just have some confidence in yourself. Stop being a little baby and saying, I don't know how to do anything and no one will hire me. And I'm only 24. I was 24. I was working with corporate CEOs, senior vice presidents when I was 23, 22, 24 years old. And I looked like a little kid. I have a baby face. Imagine how young I looked when I was in my early 20s. I looked like a little kid. I made it work. Okay? What's your fucking excuse? And I had no college degree and I did not have a high school diploma. What's your excuse? Yeah. Okay. Step 5. Once you've figured this out, construct or determine what you're going to sell exactly. So you can only sell one of 3 things: a product, hard product, information, or a service. That's it. You can't sell anything else. So what are you going to sell? Which one of these 3 things are you going to sell? If it's a product, you need to go find it. Okay? Do some research, go find it. Find a place you can get it wholesale or design it yourself. You can do that too. A lot of people made a lot of money designing their own little products. Like, my favorite example is the guys who did bamboo or faux bamboo covers for iPads. They made millions of dollars. Oh my God, these guys are crazy. Just sell them online, okay? High margin, hard product. Or if it's information, what type of information is it? Is it a book? Is it a course? Is it a audio course? Is it a membership site? What is it? If it's a service, what is it? Is it coaching? That means one-on-one. Is it consulting? That means one to a company of several people, okay? Is it a specific done-with-you service or done-for-you service? Is it a specific technical service? Is it a specific kind of consultation? Is it what is it? Design it out, map it out. Map it out, price it out, all that shit, okay? Okay. Last step, and I just finished recording another YouTube video about this. Market that thing for at least 10 hours a week, at least. 15 is better, 20 is better, 25 is better. Yes, you have a full-time job, that may be hard, I understand. But you sit down and you market the fuck out of that thing using one marketing technique at a time. There's various marketing techniques I was about to say. Use one marketing technique at a time. I've done plenty of YouTube videos on this. I've done plenty of articles on my blog about this. I have many courses on this. You want to spend a little money. We have a course called How to Get Clients that shows you 17 different ways to market something with specific step-by-step instructions on how to do that, including ways that cost no money. You can spend money on marketing. You don't have to spend money on marketing. My first online company, I started for $29, spent $0 on marketing for many years until I was already making a 6-figure income. So everything works. You just have to do it. You don't just dick around with your website or your product or service for months and months and months and think about it for months and months. I have many guys who will contact me and say, I think this work. I've been working on this and focusing on this and thinking about this for 4 months. I said, you've been thinking about it or doing it? Well, I said, I will say, I have a feeling you haven't done shit. You've just been thinking about it for 4 months. I go, yeah, you're right. I've just been thinking about it. Stop thinking and start doing. I've done many YouTube videos about that. Too many of you in my fucking audience are thinkers and not doers. Okay? You're called lissigs, low-income smart guys. Don't be a lissig. Lissigs are losers. I'll say this. I'll wrap up this podcast with this happy note. Some of the biggest losers I have ever met have been men who are extremely intelligent, genius-level IQs, read lots of books, college degrees. The biggest fucking losers I've met because they don't take any action. I just gave you 6 very simple steps. Simple but not easy, but you can do them. Simple steps to follow to start your own location-dependent business. I have met tons of people who make a lot of money who are complete fucking morons, who are selling stuff on the internet or not on the internet right now, making shitloads of money, some of them making more money than me, and they're fucking morons because they took action. I just gave you the template. We have lots of courses and services at Sovereign CEO, calebjones.com, to help you with this. If you want to get a boost on this stuff, but you don't actually need to, you could do this on your own. It takes a little longer. I just gave the steps. It's not that hard. Cool? Cool. All right. I will see you in the next podcast next week. Have fun. Bye.